The reason I said that is because it was a wave of emotions, right or wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Wave of emotions. And I think that now, before I get Ade on stage, that's going to join me, I'm going to do the Q&A. Can you see now, in terms of the quality, the level, the delivery, the artistry, and actually the perception, we can't distinguish that from cinema being perpetuated all over the world. The quality is there. And I think that it's an absolute testimony to yourself, Ade, before you even get on stage, in terms of new voices. What an absolutely brilliant depiction of all those stories. So actually, really loudly, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for new voices, please. That was amazing. All right, come and join me now. It's only fair. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and another round of applause, please. Here's Ade Femzo. Thank you. You saying, you good? Cool. All right, so first and foremost, welcome to Bristol.
Thank you for having me.
We're really happy and really honoured to have you here. Where do I start? Where do I start in terms of all of those films? I think, for me, the one thing that stood out immediately, and everyone's got their own interpretations, obviously, of each and every film, is Reflection. That whole eyes being in the frame, and then the TripAdvisor on the door, eyes, and then coming back, and then that shadow that just went past. And it's like, that in itself, even before the story began, for me, as somebody watching, actually told a lot. And we'll speak a little bit later on in terms of the other films and actually the more that story went on and how powerful that was. But you have a talent, and that talent was depicted, and that talent was told, and actually it touched an area in every single part of my brain that I can personally relate to. So thank you for sharing that first and foremost. Second of all, I mean, where do I start? Reflection. Let's start there. In terms of the artistry, in terms of the story, where did you go with that?
Oh, I made Dropout. Mine was Dropout, not Reflection.
Oh, right, okay, Dropout.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Dropout was about me just kind of taking that step into wanting to be a creative. Telling my mum that I didn't want to go to uni, basically.
Yeah.
Traditional African parents want you to go through that route, but I wasn't really onto it. And yeah, I just decided to make to film out of it, really.
And how much times have we been in a situation where, we play things in our head? Because that's what stood out for me as well. We play these scenarios in our head, what they're going to say. And you actually took it to that bit extra and played every scenario out in your head and put it through the film. But did you personally come across that when you was thinking about music and thinking about university?
Do you know, I think it was one of them things when it's like, I know what would typically be said with my mum if I was to tell her obviously at a certain point.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about if I had a watch in that moment, like how many different times would I tell her, and what excuse could I actually tell her to just let me like.
I thought a burner's watch. Who remembers burner's watch?
I got it from that idea.
Yeah.
Burner's watch. That's where I got the whole going back into time thing. But yeah.
And do you know what's nice is that you carried the energy, because obviously being in that film and obviously having that idea, that's a dual role. That's something that only few can do. And I think that actually telling that from outside the camera, inside the camera, beyond the camera, and actually getting that through to the film was amazing. It was a really, really good piece of work. In terms of the premise, your beginnings, like what even got you into filmmaking to begin with?
So I started off doing like Instagram skits and like comedy videos back in like 2017. Was doing that for a while, was able to like build a following online, and I kind of wanted to just take it to the next step. So I decided I'm going to get into filmmaking. I actually decided I wanted to get into acting, but with acting you need a show reel and an agent and stuff like that to actually get auditions, but I didn't have any of that. So I decided I was going to learn how to make film so I can start starring them myself and then send it out to the agents to show them I can act and stuff like that. But yeah, so that ended up working. I actually got an agent from doing that, but the love of filmmaking continued, and I just kept on like, making films.
And how important is it to have that influence where you're from? It's London, right?
Yeah.
To have that influence now, because there are so many films that are prominent now in the UK scene, to have that influence, to bring your friends on board, to get that buzz within your local area in terms of having that picture made and actually raising the aspirations of your friends as well within the film. How important is that to you?
It's very important. I actually made a production company called ACP Network based on that premises of just like getting my friends and the people that like share the same interests of me of wanting to learn how to make films, and we just came together and started just making films without no budgets. Of course, it's hard to get money when you're trying to make films, so just learning how to make films on like zero budget kind of vibes, and then just keep on growing from there.
But the quality was there. And you would agree, ladies and gentlemen, the quality was there. The storytelling was there. The humour was there. The balance was there. It was very much a film that you could put anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't necessarily turn around and say, okay, I know that an independent filmmaker made that. It was there, and I think that it's a testimony to where we're at in the film industry now, in terms of we can make films that are high quality, high value, but you have to have the imagination and the artistry in order to make the film. So in terms of moving forward, where are we going? What's the next project for you?
Still gonna make short films. I've been posting a lot of them on my YouTube channel, which is ACP Network, if anybody's interested in looking into watch some short films online on YouTube. But yeah, I'm looking into dive into the YouTube space. I feel like it's a nice platform to drop and showcase work. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. Has anyone got any questions in the audience? Because obviously I can speak to Ade for forever. But I want to open this up for you. If anyone's got any questions, if we can pass that over. Yeah. Okay. Yep, brilliant. Thank you. Get my steps in.
Yeah, thank you. Ade?
Yeah.
Ade, yeah.
Ade. Sorry, pardon me.
Okay, right. So I'm here with my colleague. We represent an organisation called Black Art Media. So we're kind of building and starting from the ground up. I watched your film before we left. You know, I did some swatting up about the festival. Watched your film. Called my son. Said, "Come, quick! I think you'll like this." Yeah. So he came. He's a beat maker, producer. Locked into it. Loved the film. Love what you guys are doing. You know. Definitely endorse everything that you're doing. Only one thing I just want to ask you, because it will burn me if I don't ask you and I leave. In terms of like the title, so you got the title Dropout, which has its negative connotations. Now you're obviously a very talented person, entrepreneurial, confident, charismatic young man, but I in terms of leaving the idea that one drops out of university, particularly with all the stigma around black men and education, how do you reconcile that balance? So we sort of get the idea of dropout, but also saying to people, not everyone can make it in film, not everyone's going to be as charismatic, beautiful and wonderful as you are. Do you know what I mean? How do we also say at the same time, but education's important as well?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't really know, but all I can say in terms of just like whether education is for you or not, or just trying to make it in general, as long as you're like true to who you are and understand like your strengths and your weaknesses. I know that I'm not a person that is very strong in when it comes to education and school, but I know I'm a person that's very strong in creating and being creative. So as long as you're hitting your strengths and know what you're passionate about, then I think it should be fine. I don't think there should be any pressure if it should be leaving uni or staying or not. I don't know. Yeah.
And you've got to remember as well that just from somebody observing that and actually listening to what you've just said as well, is that being a dropout can actually give you a revitalized vision of yourself. So if you've got low morale, low self-esteem, and you feel conditioned by the barriers that are around you, sometimes you need to drop out of the system in order to really dignify who you are and be on your true trajectory of the path that you're on. For example, I didn't leave school with loads of GCSEs. I dropped out. I got brought up in care. Now that was the system of condensing me in this box. I very closely got on television, for instance, again, in this box. But without me going on the journey that I'm on now, I wouldn't be who I was. So essentially, I dropped out of this narrative of the system in order to self-empower. So I think that actually when you're watching that, you're completely right in what you're saying, you're completely right in what you're saying as well. However, sometimes we have to drop out in order to resurrect ourselves. But it's a personal journey. That's just my interpretation of Drop Out the film, you know?
Totally get that, but one always needs a helper. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
everybody has a helper
Of
that
course.
comes along and
Yeah.
says like, blah blah blah. You know, but this is not a critique. I'm
No,
just
yeah,
trying to raise that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love the film. I love what you're about and everything. You know, so.
If you didn't ask questions, then we'd be worried. So yeah, great question. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. At the back there, have you got the microphone? Thank you.
Yeah, Ade, loved the film, and I saw it online, and it was great to see it on the big screen because I missed some. When you watch it a second time, you're like, oh yeah, yeah. So for me, just from the Nigerian perspective, like as a director, writer, did you write it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a writer and producer, sorry. Did you write the Nigerian dialogue, or was that something that your actor brought to the piece? And just to add, like, you know, I come from a Nigerian family, and I was like, oh my God, that's my mum. Even though she's like a 20-year different generation, I was like, that's her, that's everything. So I really felt it was nice to see that on screen. Do you know what I mean? In the way it was done. But yeah, did you write that dialogue? Do you speak the language, or was that something that you wanted your actor to bring to the piece, or did it emerge on set? Like, how did that come about?
So yeah, I did write some Yoruba in the script, but it was definitely brought alive through the actor. Yeah, she added her little flavors, so she made it like the relatable mum figure in a sense of like just dropping the little Yoruba words and stuff like that, and little praises when you enter the house, them little things. But yeah, the actor definitely delivered in bringing that role alive. I did write some, but not as much as she was saying because she was going in. But, yeah. I can speak it as well. A little bit. Not the best, but I'm getting it.
Cool. Thank you. Michelle?
Just a quick question. It was great. How long did it take you to write, and how long did it take you to film?
So writing it, I actually had another draft when I was making it. Like, it was totally different kind of story. Same premises of actually going back in time, but different storyline. I was actually trying to write that for like 2 weeks, but it wasn't really working. And then I decided to write something more relatable like this. And yeah, the process was much more easier and smoother. It took like 2 days to come down to like a finished actual version of it. And we shot it in 1 day. So yeah, it took a day to shoot.
Just very quickly as well. What time did you film on the estate? Because there was no one around.
That's Thamesmead. Thamesmead's quiet. But I think we started, the call time was like 7 o'clock.
Oh, in the morning?
In the morning, yeah.
I did think that. Yeah,
7,
I thought it was
I
a
think, yeah,
morning
7
shot.
and we
Yeah,
finished around like 7 actually as well. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
it took like 12 hours actually.
Nice. That was good. So yeah, literally, I was just trying to find, is there anyone? No. It was like an early shot, definitely. Any other questions? Yep.
I got the mic anyway.
Yeah, you got the mic anyway.
Well, number one, we got the same name, so yeah, pick yourself up.
Come
Our film was amazing, honestly. My question is, like, during the process of just being creative, especially for this film, like, what sort of things did you learn to, I want to say, to cope or to, it's so hard to explain, like internally sort of thing, like in terms of development of oneself, learning about yourself while doing it, like what did that bring about as you were doing that piece?
I think one thing that I definitely learned on the stay or the set was that I'm used to like directing and acting at the same time, but I feel like on that set in particular, it kind of made me learn that these are very two different roles, and what's expected from me is kind of very, very different. So like, as an actor, of course, I'm there to act, but as a director, I'm there to lead the other actors get into the right character. I felt like at times, there was times I was probably focusing more on the directing than the acting, so I felt like performance-wise I could probably improve, and that's something that I'll learn along the ways. But yeah, just trying to learn how to manage both roles, so when to be in director mode and when to be in acting mode, kind of thing. Yeah.
Kushe out the body. Is anyone can relate to that? Okay, good. So it shows that I'm coming from Sierra Leone. I am Kerry David Barry. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch the film because I'm just coming now. But I was really, really wanted to watch this movie because I'm a filmmaker. I'm a director, producer, and I am one of the finest actors in my country, Sierra Leone. So, and I just came back to the UK, and I mean, filming is my thing. So whenever I hear about film, I want to get there because I really like to do networking and all. So really, I don't have question, but I'm here to introduce myself and make.
10 out of 10 on the confidence, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's
There you
about.
go.
We
So
need to
I mean,
get
I
that
want to be part of the
spot right
family.
there.
Thank you very much, guys.
No, thank you, clearly. Thank you. It's great. No, we like that. And actually, do you know what? Just going to touch on that very, very quickly before we go to more questions. That's what Inspired's about. You felt inspired enough to say something. So actually, through the films that we made, even though you've just rolled in and obviously advertised yourself, which is great, by the way, it's about having that sense of empowerment. And I think if we do that, as long as we keep that momentum going, then actually we can bring some really, really good changes. But again, I don't want to leave it on me. Is there any other questions? Go for it.
Loved the film. I loved how colourful it was. But what I want to ask is that one take shot. Is that something that you've done before? Like, how long did it take to actually get the one take shot done?
Yeah, one take shots. I like one takes. They're easy. They're like not easier to do, less stress when it comes to doing loads of different shots and trying to figure out how to do it in different ways. But yeah, the one take, it took like, I think we had like 4 tries. I think the one that you saw, I think was probably the 3rd one, and then we had another one that we did. But yeah, it was good. I didn't personally do it, but the Steadicam operative, he was amazing at his job. And yeah, did it very well.
What camera did you use for that?
That was Alexa, Arias. I don't know. I can't remember too tough, but it was a good. The camera team probably able to tell you that a little bit better.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
Greetings. This is not the first time you're seeing your film in this capacity, is it?
No.
Okay. It's just to follow on with what Junior was saying, because I enjoyed your reflection and perspective on reflection. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on with regards to some of the films and things like that you're watching, like what messages and what was being transferred for you coming through with what was alongside your film as well.
Oh, I didn't. I actually came a little bit late, so I didn't get to watch all of them. I think I watched the last one. It was really good. Yeah.
Go ahead, translate. Yeah.
Translate.
Yeah.
What I thought about.
For yourself, because it's just intriguing to see of course, you're a filmmaker and then you're here being exposed to other films. So what, if it might be too early anyway, but what is being transferred through you right now?
I think is like making films. It's like such a big. There's so many genres. There's so many like different types of filmmaking. So like the film that I just watched at the end, it was a voiceover. It wasn't like narrative. So like there's so many different types of ways to make films. People are interested in different genres and different categories. I know that I like narrative work. I like to work with like kind of actors and stuff like that. But I do also like to watch things that are different to what I don't usually make. I really like animation. Going to certain festivals. I know we didn't see no animation here, but animation is another like kind of sick filmmaking kind of thing I like. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a little bit in that Dear Lovely.
Oh yeah, there was one film that I did watch.
Yeah,
there was some
I
animation.
enjoyed a little bit of those elements being intertwined with the visuals.
I think it was the washing line, wasn't it?
Yeah, that show was just so beautiful and so visceral. I think it added so much more emotion into the stills. But no, thank you very much for sharing. I think I'll probably.
Quick question: Where's filmmaking gonna be for Black Leads in 20 years?
In 20 years?
Yeah. Oof. I'm not gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 20. Where do you think? With what you know, because you're the expert in film, not me.
I don't know. I hope that is the better position I is in now, I guess. I feel like the way that the film industry is moving, especially as I said, I like the whole YouTube space. I feel like it's kind of changing in terms of how easy it is to show your film. Like before, if you wasn't getting your film shown in festivals and stuff like that, you wouldn't really get a lot of recognition from it, or your career wouldn't really grow from it. But now with YouTube, you post a short film, like it gets reception, gets views, your career can actually seem like it's going to be something that's going to work in it. So yeah, it's just more opportunities to grow in your career now, I guess. Hopefully that continues.
Because the reason I say that is because, without getting too diplomatic into it, the whole culture from when I was younger to obviously now is changing. Like there's certain things that you can't say, there's certain things that you can't do. And I still think being a stand-up comedian and a filmmaker are two spaces that are still quite free in terms of the 21st century, do you see that there's going to be restrictions on the artistry in terms of the storytelling, or do you think it will still be quite free? And I'll give you an example. There was a film there about a refugee, very, very powerful. I felt that film. And it was very much, it was politically driven. Now, obviously, there's certain things you can and can't do. YouTube, you just mentioned, for instance, without getting the tick and then being taken off. Do you think that that's where we're going in terms of our voice, or is our voice going to still be heard and we can still exercise that space moving forward?
I hope so. I hope so. It continues to grow and it doesn't feel like it's getting to be restricted and stuff like that, because then it'll just take away the art of filmmaking. It's meant to be something that you can do to express yourself, and hopefully that it's allowed to continue. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I
Any
add?
questions?
Can I add something?
Yeah.
It has a strong opportunity based on us to go beyond the screen, because we already have gone beyond this screen, this type of Black Mirror. We've gone beyond it. Right now, as you're talking about, Ade, on being on the mobile phone through YouTube, films have moved over into the YouTube space, and we have an opportunity for them to go beyond that and how we share them in more immersive experiences. So in the next 10 to 20 years, we'll be entering that space of being able to share with one another beyond just the mobile there and beyond the cinema space, where we're gathered and we have other elements that are connected within film. And that exercising, exactly again what you just said, that's exercising our artistry. I strongly believe that's to come, and the more we're tapping into that, the more we're able to share our messages and allow our messages to be transcended through these various mediums that can be part of those immersive experiences.
Thank you. Good question.
Thank you. Hello. Brilliant film. Love Dropped Out. Didn't expect to take that twist as well with the time watch. That blew me. So yeah, thank you for that experience. I just wanted to know and touch on, you said previously that you realised education wasn't for you. What fostered your love in film, and kind of what also made you know that actually being in the film industry was for you?
I think, as I said, in 2017 I was doing comedy videos. Before that I just always used to make I used to actually make Facebook videos as well, but I've always been interested in being in front of camera, and I've always liked the idea of having an idea of something and then seeing it on a screen, whether it's a short video or a film. And I feel like just as I grew older, I just kind of wanted to expand that and turn it into something, that I felt like I can say was a career, and filmmaking was that option for me. So I just decided to keep on going through that. I love it, and it's just easy. It's not easy for me, but it's an easy way for me to express myself and get things out of my head.
We've got time for one more question. If you would go over there, please.
Hi everybody, I'm Maddie from Watershed. In the spirit of networking, I'm around all day and look after a range of programs, including overseeing BFI Network here in the Southwest. So if you want to come and have a chat, I'm around. Really enjoyed your film, absolutely brilliant. And like Mina said, seeing it on the big screen, because I'd seen it on the small screen, was a completely different experience to just see it at scale. But I'm interested to find out a bit more about your role as a producer, because that's something that we're really lacking here in the Southwest. There's a lot of directors, there's a lot of writers. What do you think are the sort of key skills that you need for being a producer, and what's drawn you to that role? Is it by necessity, or is it something that you've kind of want to do? You've set up your production company and so on.
I think it was definitely something that was a necessity for me in terms of producing, because it is hard to find a producer that's willing to work on your project, especially when you're upcoming. And in general, it's hard to find money just to make stuff. With producing, it's for me, I kind of got into it, recently I've been kind of putting on my producer hat and saying I am a producer, and I'm actually going to start looking at projects in terms of being a producer. So trying to actually create it and work with a team and trying to make everybody come together and deliver a project that they can all say they're proud of. Before, I felt like I was doing that prior, but I just didn't know I was doing it. So making films on YouTube for the 2019 when I started, didn't really call myself a producer, but I was doing the things of what a producer would do. So getting my friends together and sorting out edits and trying to get the film made. So something that I feel like kind of happened naturally for me. And yeah, to be a good producer, I wouldn't really know that. I wouldn't really like say I'm the greatest producer, but I think it's just something that you need to know how to just build, like, get the right people together to be able to make a product, which is the film. So yeah.
Just before we go, if there was, we'll use this as an analogy, if there was one thing you could say to the industry through a new voice, yourselves, what would it be in terms of the support? And what does people, for us as having, of being of colour, what help can we have to put us on a trajectory of higher success in the film industry in the UK?
Allowing us to tell our stories more, and for it to not feel so hard for us to feel supported in terms of like access to money and funding to actually make stuff. And regardless or not, we're still gonna make films, and we're not stopping to push that forward. So you're gonna hear from us eventually, so you might as well take us in now.
And that is a perfect close. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Ade, please. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And any feedback about Inspired 2023, we want to hear through it through all channels, Instagram, also Twitter, also the Watershed, the BFI network, all the different realms, in order to get your feedback as the guest that's joined us today would be absolutely amazing. We got the masterclass up next with still many different things happening throughout the day. You may see me a little bit later on when I'm going to be doing a Q&A with Scott with mid-20s, and feel free to obviously go to the toilet now. Network as two people rightly so said sat next to each other. And if you've got any questions, feel free to let us know. Welcome to Inspired 2023. I've been Junior Saunders. Thank you very much for your time.